problem, need some creativity.
Yeah.
Say to yourself, I'm really got this problem. I'd really like to think through this and understand it. And just say to yourself and feel it, like your need, right? And that space of not knowing, but wanting to know, is a primer for your brain to find a solution, right? Then you do things that put you in a solutions mindset. There's a number of things you can do. We won't get to, I was hoping to get to it, but stuff like image streaming, where you literally dip into images in your brain, you start describing them, and you start to connect, make like weird connections. So you're dipping into this like subconscious thoughts that you have like, say 80,000 thoughts plus pictures and stuff in a day. Constant stream, no matter what you're doing, no matter how focused you are, internally or externally, you always have these going on, right? Well, those are like products, they're not rationally available to you. So the explanation of them is never there. But they're products of an almost infinite thinking process that you actually have going on, like that same process that's doing, 3 trillion bits of information processing simultaneously. So if you learn to tune into some of these images, you actually have a lot of knowledge you don't know you have. It's not always available consciously, and when you become available to aspects of it, it's not available to you in terms of like, oh, there's a total rational explanation for this image being in my brain, right? It's kind of like dreams. They make total sense when you're in them, but when you're in a conscious awareness thinking about them, you're like, what the heck? Yeah, exactly. But they oftentimes, when you start to engage with them in the way they were meant to be engaged with, so you're not supposed to consciously understand it. Oftentimes, it's at that moment where you accept these weird things, and you're like, oh, that's weird, that must be a reason. Suddenly, you'll have a totally separate insight about what you actually wanted to understand or know. And so it's kind of the way you work. Kind of like I have no idea what I'm going to say even at the end of the sentence when I start. Like, you have to start to trust this part of you.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, you never just stop being rational either. You don't just, but there's a rationality to trusting it, right? You were given a rational mind for a reason, not so that you can just follow your heart and do all sorts of maybe pretty stupid things sometimes.
Emotional based.
Right. But at the same time, there's a brilliance there. And most of the conscious things you thought consciously really came. They all did. They all came eventually from that same place.
Yeah.